Mate, let's talk about the Titans, though.
For sure.
Fantastic, mate. Jaden Campbell 6, Kieran 7. Keeney, he must stay. He's been phenomenal in the one, which brings up AJ. I know AJ won't like it, but I've said this before. I love AJ as a 14. I don't like him as a centre. A little bit like the Jack Whiten situation. He can't impact from the centres the way he can't use his strengths. Bringing him on after 20, 25 minutes, pinballing through the middle.
I disagree. I think AJ's got to be in the starting team. Just get him in there. They're not a team that's got that much talent, but they just need him in the football team for long periods as opposed to sitting on the bench for a period. I love the makeup of what Foran, Campbell and Kinney have done. If you're an older half, and I can say this from experience when I went to the Roosters, when you lose a bit of that, the speed and footwork and the ability to break through the line, you need 6 and 1 to be able to do those things for you. As long as you can be that ball player, the smarts, and create space, then having the footwork, the speed and the threat from other guys.
That's right.
And it looked like, I'm not comparing them at all, but it was almost like the Broncos spine. You got Foran in the middle, making decisions like Reynolds. Then you've got Campbell and Kinney doing his thing, and it's like Ezra Mam and Reece Walsh. So there's something there that Foran has stumbled upon.
Well, Coops, that formula that you guys had in 2017, you were the playmaker, and in the 6 and 1 were basically two fullbacks at that point. You had Munster and Slater. And Jaden Campbell, great run of the football. Just have a look at this a little bit. You know, just to explain footwork a lot of times. Look at that. With footwork, for people watching at home, what sets up your footwork is your fade, right? Now, Jaden, by him fading there, what he's trying to get Dylan Walker to do is to chase him. A defender should move up at 90 degrees nice and straight, but when an attacking player who's got speed, when they fade on reception, it really tests the nerve of that tight defender. And you see Dylan Walker couldn't help himself. He just chased him.
The little cue was he's going left and then the hips turned out. But that is so good, that footwork. Like that, he separated from that left foot probably 1.5 meters. Like that is top-end stuff. But the ability for him to do that, notice that he had Dylan Walker, big left foot step. There's just reasons why this kid just needs to be in the football team. He might have just found his position. He had a terrific day out. Him and Foran were great. But that is
good,
very good.
Bush. That's
very
good.
good.
Let's talk about the Titans. We were saying just recently, Titans had that terrible start to the season. With the better start, the way they've been playing, we'll say, my God, not just in the top 8, they'll be starting to press the top 4. And then you get, explain this to me. 2 weeks ago, their second half against the Broncos, they win 36-0. Probably one of the greatest halves of football in that club's history. The next half of football, the next week, the first half against the Sharks, they get beat 30-0. One of their worst. How can a professional rugby league side, how can that happen?
I think if you are consistent from the first day in November in pre-season, you'll be consistent on grand final day. If you are inconsistent throughout the weeks, you will get a great performance on one day and you'll get a poor performance the next. And I feel like when it comes back to, how can you answer it? How can we put like a number on why this is such a big gap? It has to be individual accountability. It can't be anything more than that, because if you and I feel like we're going to play today, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to help you be the best player we can be, I think we get a great performance. But if I sit back and go, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to let Matthew do the work today, I just don't feel like it today. I think that's when you get your inconsistency, and that's the performance.
I'll just go back to that Titans versus Broncos game for a sec, because being over there, I didn't get an opportunity. I saw some of the games, but not all of them. What happened in that second half? Because is it almost like the Broncos submitted? Because it seems as though, but if I was to hazard a guess, I would say that first half against Cronulla has been a byproduct again playing against a side 40 minutes before that basically totally surrendered and let them just do whatever they want.
And we always say, compliments sort of shift your focus, whereas criticism sharpens your sword. And I think there's a little bit of complacency, a little bit of patting on the back, a little bit of all of that. But the thing about the Titans' performances, like those wins and the teams that win the grand final, is because they laid the foundation in November. It's not they didn't turn up in round 20 and go, all right, now we're going to play.
Yeah.
I think the teams that have really high highs and low lows, inconsistent at training means inconsistent on game day.
Titans. Really disappointing the last couple of weeks after they had a good run. Des, he's having some problems with the spine, finding the right spots, working out the puzzle. AJ Brimson on the weekend stayed on the bench till 10 minutes to go. What happened there?
Don't know. Matty, we're not coaches, so we don't live in the brains of coaches, but they were poor. And I think what Keanu Kinney, what Campbell and Foran have delivered, I think they've found their answer, what their spine is, in my opinion.
Yep.
And AJ Brimson is an origin player. He cannot be sitting on the bench with a roster that's not as good as others and there for 60 minutes. It was a strange thing that they were chasing points and the Dragons, I think, went down a player and they didn't bring AJ on. I thought that would be the perfect time to bring him on. Yep. Maybe he's an in-change forward that comes on and plays a utility role like Tyron Wishart does, but he plays 60 minutes. He plays long minutes.
Yep.
It's either that or he's in the centres.
I'd love to see him at 13.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him pinballing through the middle.
Yep.
I don't like him in the centres because it takes him away the area of the field where he's most dangerous. Yep. Against the big blokes, just pinging around a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he'd do great at 13.
Yeah, and it might help the Titans ball players to get him on a first receiver where he can use his footwork and bounce across and then open up for Kieran Foran sometimes. So, I think he probably should be,
The Titans going into this season, Coop, they typified for me why it was going to be such a tight competition. Because I thought with Des going there, all those players a year old, I thought, mate, this team's going to play finals. I don't know if it just took them a long time to adjust to Des's methods. Yep. I'm not sure exactly what it was. The loss of Tino was a big one, but trying to work out the puzzle, which was the spine, a lot going on.
The thing about the Titans for me is they need to get a good balance on both sides of the ball. Their defence needs to complement their attack and their attack needs to complement the defence. At the moment, it's either they defend really well and win games or they defend bad and their attack is so good that it's firepower and scoring points. They just need to find that perfect balance between that.